Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here for Nintendo Life. And guess what? I'm not alone because a wild Alex has appeared.
Wow! I was in shot before then, so that's... I want you to edit that so it looks as awkward as possible.
I will.
Hello, yes. It's all been happening this week, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo are definitely keeping us on our toes with everything, I can tell you that. Especially this morning. They accidental, on purpose, who knows, but it definitely seems like it's on purpose now. They've announced that you can pre-order Fire Leaf and Leaf Green on the Nintendo Switch now.
Fire Leaf and Leaf Green?
Fire Leaf, Fire Red and Leaf Green.
I
my
love
brain
Fire
does
Leaf.
not my brain does not want to work today. But yes, Pokemon titles coming out. What are your initial thoughts, Alex?
Mixed, shall we say. I'm pleased that they're releasing it in some form, but I don't want to show my hand too early, and give things away. But there's something very particular. Nintendo have come out with a quote, haven't they, regarding these re-releases and why they're not on, Nintendo Classics or Nintendo Switch Online like every other Game Boy Advance game.
Mm-hmm. They said, and I quote, "In celebration of 30 years of Pokemon, we thought it would be fun to return to the ultimate versions of the original Pokemon adventures in the Kanto region with these special releases." They
thought it would be fun to release it for $20 or £17?
$16.99. £16.99.
Yeah, £17. As an official line, it's I'm not overly keen on it, to be honest. I mean, it just, to me, like, the thing is that I can understand that there are reasons why they would do it, because they've confirmed that Pokemon Home is going to be compatible with these, which is good.
Yep.
That's what you'd want, really. Backup saves are not compatible. These Save Cloud backups, or the Cloud Save backups, rather, they're not going to be compatible. And I think if you were going to do, just release it on NSO like that, then you would run into problems with regards to things like people using save states. And then if you disable save states for only that game, it gets a bit mucky. But at the same time, I think it's a bit much, to be honest.
It is a little bit cheeky, isn't it? I mean,
it's not outlandish. Like, as you know, secondhand market is mad for this stuff.
I was about to say that. Yeah, so I'm very fortunate that I didn't pay anything for my Fire Red that I got 6 years ago because
recently. Yeah, no,
I've played Red, I played Blue, and all that kind of jazz. So, at the time, I was like, oh, why should I get Fire Red and, pay, as I say, I don't know why, a sock's worth. Pay too much money, basically, for it.
Must be a Scottish thing, don't worry, lovely people.
It's a brain thing. That's just me. But yeah, I ended up getting for free because the person who they were going to throw it away, and they're like, oh, I told them this... Are you sure you want to throw this away? They were like, oh yeah, no, it's fake. I'm like, okay, had a look at it. They had gone already. I didn't know it was a random person. I looked at it. I'm like, no, this is a legit game. Okay. Because I sadly found out that my Emerald isn't real. I bought that from the shop, which is a shame. But at least my Fire Red is all good. And I started playing it a couple of years ago when I was in... good old I was playing Lady Macbeth in the Scottish play, as they say it, and I called that my Shakespeare run.
Macbeth.
I know, I don't care. I'm spicy. I always say it. But no, I ended up just every Pokemon I caught, I named after a Shakespeare or a Macbeth character.
I like to think you just named them all after Shakespeare. They're all just Bill, Billy,
William,
Willie S.
Wilhelmina.
Yeah. I never actually I've never owned a copy of Fire Red or Leaf Green. Just because I had Ruby and Sapphire, and there was just, in a way, I had my copy of Red still and my brother's copy of Blue that he wasn't using. I was always a little bit jealous of my friends because some of them, had Fire Red and or Leaf Green. Yes, some of them had both. I have those sorts of friends, apparently, or at least I did. And so it is nice. I do want to play these games because I've never played them. And I know that there's a lot of people who have probably already gone down to the comments already to make it abundantly clear that there are other methods, illegitimate methods of playing this game without paying $20. We won't go into any details, but, I'll just say, yeah, everyone knows. You don't have to go into the comments and reiterate that point. Everyone knows. It's moot. But anyway, it is a tricky one because I do really want to play the games, and I'm going to end up getting one of these. I am.
Yeah.
It's going to be leaf green because I love me a Venusaur. And green is my favorite color because I'm still a child, apparently. But it's still the price, And we were chatting a little bit beforehand about the price.
I was going to say, I'm not too disgruntled about the price considering the second-hand market. Like, I'm going to get leaf green. I have fire red already, I know, but I still want to try... I know, yeah, buddies. But yeah, I want to play leaf green because, again, get to play the other game, but also I'll be able to play it on my Switch too, rather than worrying about like lugging my DS or my GBAs. Yes, I have more than one. About
Who doesn't?
I know. But no, I generally don't mind the price considering the secondhand market. Plus, it is which is probably going on to like a segue into like a different kind of topic, but the same sort of topic is video game preservation. Because the batteries don't always live long enough as well on the physical carts. So at least this way, it's a way of preserving the game without having to worry in case, oh no, I've got all my Pokemon on here. Oh no, they're gone. I can't get the save back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and with home integration, that's going to make it, sort of better still because you'll be able to take those Pokemon and use them elsewhere.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
If you want to. But I do get it, and it's the sort of thing where I have mixed feelings because on the one hand, I'm not annoyed, but the real sticking point for me is the price, and it's not that much. But when you consider that they released red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, and crystal. They did release gold and silver as well, didn't they?
I have them. Yeah.
I know they released crystal, but there was a part of me that's like, did they do gold and silver? On the 3DS. When they released those, and admittedly, gold, silver, and crystal were 2018, I believe, and red, blue, and yellow were 2016, they were £9 each, which is... The thing,
I thought they were a little bit more for some reason.
No. Good friend of the channel, Paul, has provided like his original emails very kindly to show the original price that he paid for all those games, which you'll see on screen now. And they are... It's the sort of thing where if these games were released, Fire Red and Leaf Green they released, and they were 10 quid or something like that, I'd be like, no problem, go for it, That's, no qualms whatsoever. That feels like a generous price to me. I would say that 17, and we're talking pounds here, obviously. I know we're flipping between the two, but come on, we're from the UK. £17 is, I would say, on the very upper end of what I would consider to be a fair price. It's not an unfair price, but it really feels like they've done their market research and they've pushed it as high as they possibly can before reaching that breaking point. And that breaking point will be different for different people, of course. Some people will already be going, that's ridiculous, and then go off on some sort of tangent about that, how they've been playing it illegitimately, I'm sure. I see you in the comments already. But I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not more affordable because I know when we talked about this beforehand, I didn't reveal the price of the originals to you. You thought they were more like £15, didn't you?
Yeah.
I
mean, that's probably the reason why I bought them, even though I had them already. Like I got, what did I get? I got silver, yellow, and crystal on my 2DS now. So I have. Ooh. So yeah, I bought those. But I obviously didn't buy them all in one go. I kind of bought them when I could be bothered. But yeah, for some reason I thought it was going to be something between £12 and £15, not $9.99.
$8.99.
$8.99.
£9, baby.
Oh, okay.
It's a big jump. It's not quite double, but it's getting there, Yeah. And there's... Admittedly, these are the Game Boy Advance games. They are arguably more advanced. It's in the name of the console. But at the same time, these are still comparatively, the games were only released, they weren't even released 10 years apart, all things considered. I think there's actually been a longer gap between the release of Red and Blue and Yellow on the 3DS to Fire Red and Leaf Green being released on the Switch and Switch 2 than there was between the original Red and Blue and the original Fire Red and Leaf Green. So, it's very, very mixed feelings. But it is coming with some features. One of them is not online. There's no online.
There's the Union Room.
Yeah, that's local though, isn't it? It's only local.
Oh, I was under the impression that it was like a... Well, it's game chat I'm kind of confusing with, isn't it? Here's me thinking like, oh, it's game chat and you can go in the Union Room with game chat with that. Like, oh, that'll be a loophole. But, okay, that's a bit pants because not everyone I know has a Switch 2, let alone will bother to get it on Switch,
Well, I mean, it is Switch. I imagine the Switch and Switch 2 version almost certainly will be intercompatible. Yeah.
Like, I don't have any people I play locally with. Remember, I'm a hermit.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment. What is strange, though, is that from what we've done in the sort of rapid research we did beforehand, Union Rooms could, in theory, support like up to 30 players, but that might have been... I think that may have just been like special events and things like that. There was like a central thing that you would connect to at like game shops and things like that. Whereas these releases support up to 5 players. Which, don't get me wrong, it's more than 4, always up for more than the what you would expect. But 5? It's just it's such a weird thing, and this is coming from the UK listing on the eShop. Yes, under players it says single system 1, local wireless 2 to 5. I mean, it's just such a weird number.
It's a weird way of wording it as well. It's like without an explanation. That is like I can understand like 2 to 5, but. That's why in my head I'm like, oh, it's to do with the game chat thing because you can share the screen, but it's maybe they've changed it for that.
But then there's only 4 people that can do game chat screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to do that, then they might as well update game chat. But then how? I don't know. It would just make things messy, really. Like I wish they had a little bit more explanation as to why they've chosen that number.
I mean, this entire announcement. Yeah, this entire announcement has been quite messy. I mean, there's an elephant in the room that we haven't yet addressed. Mm-hmm. Why is this happening a week before a Pokémon Presents? And I know they hadn't previously announced the Pokémon Presents. They announced the Pokémon Presents after they revealed this. But, I mean, there was always going to be one. There's one that always happens on Pokémon Day, as they call it. Mm-hmm. Why is this... Why now? Why a week in advance? And there may be some people going to the comments going, maybe it's because they've got a really big thing to announce, as we had lots of people talk about in regards to the most recent Nintendo Direct. People were saying that they were getting stuff out the way before the big Direct, which is very optimistic, and I applaud you for that, but unfortunately that's not the world we live in. I'd love it if it was, and I'd love to be proven wrong every time about that. Want to make that clear. But, yeah.
From a technical standpoint, I mean, I suppose it means they won't have to like shadow drop anything, and it means it won't clog up the eShop in hopes that people would be like, oh, new Pokemon's out today, woohoo, shadow drop, let's go over and Silksong it.
I was going to mention Silksong.
But yeah, I don't know, that's the only reason I can think of, or maybe just to try and get hype for it. Or to gauge whether it's worth doing that in the future for maybe potentially more of the older Pokemon games coming out. Who knows? I mean, it'd be great if they had older ones, but I'm mostly interested if it's for games that I cannot afford, let alone being able to get or have not played, like Platinum, for example. Games like that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something that they'll address in the Pokemon Presents next
maybe.
Week.
It may well be that there was a good reason for it. It may well be that for some reason, wheels were already in motion or something like that, and they couldn't stop what they were, what was... I don't know at the end of the day. I'm afraid I just don't know.
Someone accidentally pressed go on the button. They're like, oh no, frantically, let's quickly do it. That's what it kind of felt like this morning.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Someone hit the big red Pokemon button. for the eShop.
They
There
may
you go.
well have
Whoops.
done, yeah.
Whoopsie.
But at the same time, there's too much. Like they had the Pokemon Music, Fire Red and Leaf Green, and now on Pokemon Music. It just seems there's a little bit too much.
Preparation.
All sort of orchestrated. It's just very strange. It's just very, very strange. And I don't think because obviously Nintendo's the one that controls the eShop. I don't think Nintendo would have let an error like that slip through. Well, I don't know. Could well be wrong about that.
So we've spoken a fair bit about the current game coming out, the current games that are going to come out. Are there any of the older games that you think? Do you think they would eventually come to the Switch? Are there any in particular you'd like to come to the Switch?
I mean, it's one of those things where realistically most of them I would, sort of be pro most of them coming to, to Switch and Switch 2. I just don't know anymore. It was so baffling when they released the 3DS versions of the games. I say 3DS versions. They released it on the 3DS.
They also had the
were
consoles
technically
as well. I think that was the big.
The consoles? Oh, the 2DS consoles.
The yellow, the blue and red. Yeah.
I'm still so gutted
They're
I
so
never
lovely.
got the blue one. Like I was a red, I had red growing up, but the blue one, something about it, maybe Blastoise, even though he's not my favorite, there's just something about it that just, I looked at it and I was like, I need to get that. I wanted the emerald one more than anything because, green. But that was only in Japan and stuff like that. And I put it off, and now they are worth more than I'm willing to pay, which it turns out was all the same as to begin with, but now it's even more.
Yeah. Don't even get me
What about
started
you?
on the cost for 3DSs. I had a bit of a gap between Pokemon games, so there are quite a few that I would like to be able to get my hands on to play on my Switch. So like I mentioned, Platinum, Black and White. I played a little bit of Black on my friend's old DS like ages ago. Because I was like, oh, I've not played it. It looks fun. But I've seen my friends play it and it looks really great and everything. And I'd love to kind of jump in. Another one. Like I have all these consoles, but all these Pokemon games are so expensive. Probably the ones I'm more likely to be able to play would be something like X and Y, which is probably one of the most recent ones. Especially with
It's not that recent.
Well, in recent, in the sense of like the 3DS and the DS games,
Yeah, it feels recent, but it's not.
Don't talk to me. I mean, like the early 2000s feels like yesterday to me. I feel old. Yeah, but I'm grateful I still have my original games, and I'm grateful that I have my 2DS so I can play some of the ones I bought from the eShop. But being able to have them on my Switch and being able to like, if I decide, oh, I need to capture footage, or hey, I want to go and do a little live stream or whatever, like on my own thing, or if I just want to play with my friends, like, and just show them in Discord, like the game, that's a lot easier than say like, oh, here's a camera, here's my DS, or here's my Game Boy, here's a camera, like a bit of a higher production value. But long story short,
higher production value and look significantly lower production value.
Oh,
yeah. It's always been a tricky thing, showing handheld and stuff like that. Anything where there's no direct video out. But yeah, I mean, I really agree with you in regards to Black and White because they're the only that's the only generation I've not played to completion in terms of like the mainline generation. I know I said I haven't played Fire Red and Leaf Green, but that's the remake thing. That doesn't count. Yeah. But I mean, I've got it. Yeah, here it is because it doesn't have a case, but it is a legitimate copy. I was
Sorry, where's the case? That hurts me. Where's the case?
It was the only affordable way to get it at the time. Now it's probably
fair enough.
But it rattles. It is legitimate. I did buy another version beforehand that it turns out was illegitimate, and I know because it didn't work on my 3DS.
Oh.
And they were like, it's a North American region one. That might be why. It's like, it was sealed. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? I should have known better, but, I just hoped against hope. You know what it's like.
Yeah, I know with my copy of Emerald, that was
Whoa.
before I knew how to do all the checks.
It's not going to focus. Whoa.
Come on, focus. I know with my copy of Emerald, like that.
Whoa.
That was. Shut up. Keeping that in. I know with my copy of Emerald, that was before I knew how to check for fakes. Because at the time I was working at Game, we didn't take any GBA stuff or like retro things that hurt my heart. But, you know, I hadn't quite started my, I'm going to proper check my retro stuff journey and like proper like focusing on, like when I worked at like the other game places in the UK, good old CEX.
Other game shops are available.
In the UK, well, that's the only game shop at the moment. But yeah, like I know that
that's
over the
not
last...
true. Retro Games HQ in Swindon.
Oh, I need to go there then.
My friend
I'll have a
Pete.
trip over to see you. But yeah, like I the amount of people who don't know about like fake game cards, there needs to be an education. I know we've got a video on the channel that
I was going to say, we got a
lot of
very
people.
good video by
Yeah.
the erstwhile Xeon Grassel. He did an excellent job on that. So check that out. There'll be a link in the description if we remember. Oh, please, I hope we remember.
I'll remember. But yeah, sorry, continue before I ramble even more about game preservation and legitimate copies.
Yeah, I mean, you know, from a grain preservation point of view, from a game preservation point of view, I'm pleased that these are here. I am. I'm just a little bit jaded that what is essentially just a ROM, and when they previously done this with the 3DS versions for admittedly, you know, older games, obviously, although I think the games were younger when they released them then than now. We've been through that. I'm just a tiny bit jaded that they're asking so much. I think if they were if they were asking a tenner for it, I would say, or you know, $12, whatever it would be, you know, something like that. I would think, you know, sort of, yeah, no, 100%, no qualms, get it. You know, I'd be a happy bunny. Whereas this, it's taken the shine off the announcement.
I think that if they were more open about what kind of, if there are going to be extra features coming soon with it, but also something then when you were just talking there that came to mind is specific Pokemon events. So you know how you would go to places like, you know, Game, for example, or Woolworths back in the day, and you would get like...
Did Woolworths have those events?
Yeah, they had a Pokemon Stadium event, I remember, back in the day, and that's how I managed to get my Mew.
Damn, that sounds tasty.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
miss Woolworths.
Came to the mainland for it for the summer. Oh, good times. But yeah, like I wonder if they would do stuff like that, like have not maybe. Of course, maybe have like Pokemon events, that'd be fantastic. But you know how you still have like the mystery gift codes and everything like that? I seem to recall that, like, I'm not aware if that was a thing on GBA, but I know that with later editions that they've had of Pokemon games, you do have that. Is there a chance that could possibly come to the Fire Red and Leaf Green, where it's like, oh, if you use this code for the game, there you go, you've got a shiny Squirtle. I was trying to think just Gen 1.
Oh, I got a shiny Squirtle thanks to a special Nintendo event. No. I know what you mean, because there are special events within Fire Red and Leaf Green. Things like, obviously I've not played the game, so I'm not 100%
like I know with
sure.
Crystal,
like
there was a way for
Sevi
Celebi and stuff.
Yeah. Sevi Islands or the Orange Islands?
Orange.
Something like that. Oh, let us know, Pokemon fans, in the comments. I say that like I'm not a Pokemon
Orange
fan.
Islands was in the
original.
It was in the original ones, from what I recall. Oh, Cinnabar Island. I'm thinking Cinnabar
Island. That's
Cinnabar
like
Island.
Cinnamon Island, but it's spelled differently and pronounced differently in a different word. But no, there were in-game events that were tied to this sort of stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that in these instances, because they were definitely more of a thing in these later iterations than they were in the originals. The originals still had like new events and stuff like that, but you know, it wasn't behind the truck. But they were basically just like, you just traded. Like there was no special thing that happened or anything like that. I think Gold and Silver had a few like that. Need to speak to Joe Merrick to get the lowdown on the absolute specifics, because he'll know. He always knows.
I seem to recall there being a
Celebi
thing for Crystal, but I think that was only in Japan. So
Yeah, that does ring a bell, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was the GS ball.
GS
Remember that?
ball?
There was like a special ball in the game. I think it was supposed to contain Celebi, and it was even in the anime. There was like a GS ball, and they were like, "Oh, what's this?" Whoa, and it became like a plot point, and then they dropped it. Just
Like, that didn't do very well.
They're just like, "What's this gonna do? What's this gonna do? Who cares?" And then they just moved on and never actually addressed it, which was quite annoying. I think that was around about the time I fell off the anime.
Yeah, it's mostly the first few seasons and most of the movies I've seen. So,
the first
Pokemon
one was
2000 is the
good.
best. Pokemon 2000 is the best.
I've never seen 2000.
So good. It's so good.
There's so much Pokemon media out there. I can only eat so much.
Well, just overconsume the Pokemon now, please. Just
We're getting
do it for my
slightly
sake. I know,
away
but
from
we'll
the
get.
topic, aren't
we
we?
are. But here's the question: like, so will you be getting Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red? That's the question.
Fire Leaf.
Fire Leaf and Red Green.
I'll probably be getting Leaf Green. I've just realised you were asking the audience and not me.
I was, yeah, but I mean, thanks for letting me know, Alex. That's great.
I let you know earlier in the video. I wasn't going to embarrass you by saying I've already answered this question.
I know. But no, okay, well then, how about all of you out there, which one will you be getting if you are going to get it? And yeah, why don't you throw a Pokeball at that subscribe button to be kept up to date? And the GS Ball, yes, throw that GS Ball at the subscribe button and check out nintendolife.com for all more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. Thank you also so much for watching, and in the meantime, have a good one. Bye. Oh, that's going to be fun to edit.
Oh, we're just giggling like school children in all these bloody videos.
I know. It's like, what are they feeding them over there laughing, guys?